I'm Jacob Stockdale and I live for an audience of one. Growing up, Dad and Grandad both massive rugby players, crazy about rugby, so I started playing for Ballinhinch Rugby Club when I was about 4 or 5, and then went to Wallace High School and played my entire time there and just never stopped really. I grew up watching Ulster play rugby, whether it was at the Kingspan or it was Ravenhill back then, but whether it was at the stadium or whether it was just watching on the TV on a Friday night. And Dad loved watching the games as well, so yeah, it was always just a massive dream to be able to step out onto the pitch. The first time I played for Ulster was I was 3 months out of school. I was in a pre-season game against Exeter, and I just turned 18, and it was a pre-season game where only half the fans turned up, like nobody really cared about the game, but it was like a World Cup final for me. It was obviously quite daunting, coming out as a schoolboy and just going straight into training with the Ulster team, and all of a sudden you're watching these guys who've played for the Lions and for Ireland and for Ulster for years, like Tommy Bowe and Andy Trimble and Rory Best. It was one of the best experiences in my life, getting to know some of the guys that I looked up to as a young player. I had a decent season with Ulster kind of leading up to the tour, and it was the same year as the Lions tour, so Ulster were Ireland were sending out a weekend squad, if you want to put it that way. And yeah, I got my opportunity to go over to USA and Japan, and he put me down to start. Obviously, I was delighted to be able to get the opportunity. And it gave me a taste for playing for Ireland, and I knew that I definitely just wanted to kind of cement down my spot. Even if that was on the bench, then I was happy enough, but I knew I wanted to be on the team. A few things did go my way. I know that, like Simon Zebo signed for Racing in France, so he kind of left a bit of a spot open for me, and yeah, I guess I just kind of took the opportunity with both hands, and don't think I really looked back after that. Obviously the Six Nations was awesome, and that kind of taught me there's a difference between friendly test matches and a Six Nations game. Yeah, then the Twickenham game away, I remember walking into the stadium and walking out for the warm up, it felt like a home game. I always felt like we were going to walk away with a victory there. So yeah, that was really cool. And then it was much the same in the New Zealand game. People talk about my try, and well, your try beat the All Blacks and all that, and I go that was 5 seconds of a match that lasted 80 minutes. There was 79 minutes and 55 seconds of everybody else in the team pulling off wonder plays to stop them from scoring, or to change the kind of the flow of the game. I'd say England. Yeah, just so really physical. It's a physical battle. It's always going to hurt. Guy Corabetti played wing against me in the Australia tour, and he's just like a bundle of muscle and energy, and he was just a hard guy to try and contain. I think winning a Grand Slam was really cool, so it wasn't just something that not a lot of people get to do. Everybody was just given every single thing they could in training. They were covering every base they could, because it was you don't want not doing something during the week to be the reason that we didn't win a game. My dad was a minister of a number of churches, and so I always grew up in the church. I always grew up surrounded by people who had a faith, and people who were Christian. I don't think it really meant much to me until I was about kind of 14 or 15, and I went on a summer camp, and we were challenged about it there, and they just said are you really a Christian? Are you what do you believe? Thought to myself, I was like, well, do I really believe this? And I figured that I did, and that it wasn't just part of what we as a family did on a regular basis. It was actually my beliefs, and I realised that I had to have a relationship with God, and it's just about trying to kind of grow your relationship with God in that sense, I suppose. I'd give up my rugby career, if it meant that I could have a better relationship with God. And I know that sounds crazy, and I know, my rugby career will be done when I'm 33. I believe that my relationship with God will be eternal, and you got to look at it in that sense. Obviously, being a Christian, there are a number of challenges, and it's not just being a Christian as a sports person, it's being a Christian in general. The God that I know is a forgiving God. He is just mercy in abundance, and it means that I can mess up, but knowing that God is there, to forgive me and then kind of help me to be a better person. It's really good having those guys there because they can encourage each other and we can encourage each other. Getting injured or playing badly or making a big mistake, they're parts of the game and they're parts of life in general. The one thing that I find is having a faith actually does help that massively, because you can just give it all over to God. One game we were playing against Munster away, and I was having an absolute stinker. And at half time I just prayed and I was like, look, Lord, what is going on here? And I just decided, I'm just giving it all over to you. And in the second half, I'm not going to tell you I went out and scored 10 tries and won us the game, but I went out and had a better game, and it's just that idea of having somebody else on the pitch with you. It's like having a friend. The more you talk to your friend, the more time you spend with your friend, the better you get to know them, the better they get to know you. But this is a friend that can, give you eternal life and can change your life in so many ways and help you live the best life that you want to live. And ultimately, that's what it's all about, isn't it?